Hey guys, welcome into Faith in Football. Welcome to Take a Step Back Tuesday. My name is Neil and I will be your host. It was a rough week for some of us. Others, we got a Monday Night Miracle, but we're going to get into that in just a minute. I want to talk today about waiting. That's right. Wait is a four-letter word for a reason. Okay. None of us like to do it, but we all have to. As a matter of fact, we're commanded to wait. That's right. Today's verse is going to come from Acts chapter 1, verses 4 and 5. Might even skip down a little bit into verse 7 if the Spirit moves. So, for those of you who don't know or maybe new to the show, first of all, welcome. Down the bottom, subscribe, like, and share. This is, to my knowledge, the only faith-based fantasy football program you will find here on YouTube. If there are others, please point them out. We would love to help promote them because, hey, we all need as much of the good word as we can get. So remember, go out there, follow me on Twitter if you are Faith, the letter N, Football 1 on Twitter. Okay, so waiting. What am I talking about? Look, as far as fantasy football goes, it's hard for us to wait on players to actually perform the way we drafted them to perform. But if the talent is there, it will show up. Much like in our spiritual life, we have to wait on the Lord's timing for things to come to fruition. He has made promises to us and he has never broken a promise. If we are faithful on our end, he will be faithful on his end. He has never broken a promise since the beginning of time. Go back, read your Bible, and I dare you to find me a time where Jesus broke a promise, where God broke a promise. He never did. If there was ever something not done, it's because we didn't do what we were commanded. So I'm going to sit the table for you a little bit here on this one, give you a little context. In Acts chapter 1, the Holy Spirit hasn't come yet. The gift that Jesus promised the disciples or the apostles hasn't come. He has yet to ascend. So he comes down, he's eating with them, and they're asking him questions. And they're like, when is the time right? When are things going to happen? When is your kingdom going to come? That's down in verse 7. So in our verse of the day, verse 4, this is what it reads. Once when he was eating with them, he commanded them, do not leave Jerusalem. Wait. That's not what he says. He says, do not leave Jerusalem until the Father sends you the gift he promised, as I told you before. John baptized with water, but in just a few days, you will be baptized with the Holy Spirit. A few days, like 2, 3, don't know. What it turned out to be was 50 days. Now, when my pastor brought this message, when we were doing our teaching on the book of Acts, he said, we got a hard time as a society waiting 5 minutes at McDonald's at the drive-thru. You pull up, you do your order, you want to get out. How many times do we pull up to a fast food place? We want food right now. We're standing in line. Person in front of us taking a little longer than what we think, and we get upset and it messes up our whole day. Wait. Just wait. There's nothing that important to mess up your day with. I know I myself, they say patience is a virtue. It's a virtue I don't have. I'm working on it. Pray for me. Okay. But God tells the apostles to wait. You got to wait on the gift. Now, if somebody told you you had to wait on something that was going to be life-changing, it's going to just blow your mind. The anticipation alone will drive you crazy. We want things when we want them. That's why God calls us his children, because that's how we act sometimes. I encourage you, if you're in a place where you've been for a while, ask yourself, have I done what the Lord has asked me to do? Because here's the thing. God's not going to leave you. He's not going to forsake you. He tells you that. But he will make you wait. He has asked you to do things. If you're not listening, maybe he's making you wait so that you'll go ahead and do what he's asked you to do. Maybe he is waiting on you. He's waiting on you to get where you need to be. Like, well, how do I know where I need to be? Get in the Word. I hope that shows like this, that you're getting a little bit of the Word. I hope it encourages you to go seek out God and seek out what he wants you to do with your life. If you're struggling, if you're in a hard place, if you don't know what to do, get in the Word. People say all the time that there's no manual for life. Yeah, there is. It's called the Bible. It's a game plan. You wouldn't go on a Sunday morning if you're a football player without a game plan. You don't do that. Here's the thing. Get yourself in a good Bible preaching church, supports you, that loves you, that tells you what you need to hear. Not what you want to hear, what you need to hear. And I encourage you to start down the path that God is leading you down. Get closer to him and he will get closer to you. He tells us that. We have to wait on him. But just remember, while we're waiting on him, he could be waiting on us too. So are you going down the path that you need to go? Are you where he wants you to be? Are you going in the right direction? We've all got questions. God's got the answers. You just got to go look for them. So I hope that helps today. I hope that if you're in a rough spot, go search out God. Ask him for help. Ask him for some guidance. Ask him for some direction. He's waiting. He's got a lot of patience. So I hope that helps. I hope it encourages you. Welcome to the football side of Faith and Football. It's Take a Step Back Tuesday. And before we get started, I would like to say thank you to my sponsor, Keller's Bakery of Youngsville, off the Youngsville Highway on 627 Lafayette Street. You can find them on Facebook and order. And if you mention Faith and Football sent you, you get 2 free mini cupcakes. How sweet is that deal? Now, also, I'd like to thank Zia of Lafayette for helping out with the draft party when we had our draft. Awesome spread. I love the venue. I'm hoping at some point in time during the season give you kind of a sneak peek into the facilities down there, into the layout. Maybe we can go down there and do a show from Zia in Lafayette. If you are in the Lafayette area, you can find them behind the Grand Theater off of Johnson Street. They're on Doucet Road in front of Red Laurel's Health Club. Go down there and mention that you heard Faith in Football. I'd love to hear from you. Say hi to Tucker and Heath and all the guys down there. Leonard as well. Leonard loves to talk. And if you want to learn a good spot to go dancing, trust me, Leonard's got you covered. Okay. So let's get into the football aspect of Faith in Football. It's a rough week, guys. I know for myself, and this is why I'm bringing my message on waiting, because I didn't wait. And you're going, well, what are you talking about? About to show you guys. So here's the matchup for my league of record. And shut that down. This was my our league of record for week 3, week that just was. You see that I lost 121 to 131, and you're going, what are you, what's wrong here? What's going on? I was like, I didn't wait on the talent of one Mr. Josh Allen. 45 points, that's right, on my bench. Now, this Antonio Gibson move had absolutely nothing to do with waiting. It had more to do with injury. But what I didn't do was I didn't wait to get the full report. I just took the midweek report that he was dinged up with a shoulder injury and was like, let me start somebody else. I went out, I made a trade. Actually, I made a couple of trades this week. And this is when you can do one of two things. You can either panic or you can take advantage of the panic. I happen to do both. I know I'm here for you guys. I'm making mistakes so you don't have to. Please learn from my mistakes here. Okay, guys? You'll see that down here, we got Marvin Jones, we got the Rams, and I actually have an empty roster spot. You might be going, well, why do you have a roster spot? Why don't you go claim somebody? Well, here's the thing. You see this Saquon Barkley right here? That's right. I took advantage of the panic. The panic of Saquon Barkley, weeks 1 and 2. We see right down here in the game log, 3 points, 8 points. You're like, man, he's not doing anything. What's going on? Saquon's not going to be back. He's not going to be himself. That's what the owner of Saquon Barkley thought. So I offered him 2 players for the price of 1. I offered him Nyheim Hines and Myles Gaskin. Now, the Gas Man is okay. Nyheim Hines, he's a decent flex play. But Saquon Barkley is a first-round talent, second-round price tag if you were lucky for him to fall that far. A lot of times in the draft, he was going at the end of the first, beginning of the second. So I have now Christian McCaffrey, Antonio Gibson, and Saquon Barkley. So I've got 3 running backs that you had to get in the first or second round. Now, if you look at Denver and you look at Washington, the defenses are okay. Denver's been a little better. Washington's been really erratic. But Atlanta was just a joke. But that's not what I looked at when I made this offer. What I looked at was this, the snap percentage. I looked at the 48% in game 1. Then I looked at the 84% in game 2. I didn't really mind that, he was only getting 13 touches. He had 10 touches. He got 3 targets at each game. there really wasn't a concern. And I'll tell you why. If the coaching staff, if this trend here of the snap percentage kept going up and it jumped that dramatically, that means that they're ready for Saquon to take on a bigger load. They just wanted him out there so that he could get used to moving. He could get used to running, get the hits, get the pass protection. If you remember against Washington, it was a lot of passing. Danny Dimes did a phenomenal job against Washington. I know it's hard for me to say, guys, but he did. So I looked at this, I made my offer, and this is what I got. An 86% snap count, 21 fantasy points on 16 carries, 51 yards, and a touchdown. Then a jump from 3 targets a game to 7 targets, 6 receptions, 43 yards. Hey, couldn't ask for a whole lot more, right? Now, what about the patience part of this? What about the panic part of this? Here we go. Mr. Josh Allen, who got me 17 and then 20. Not bad, right? Okay, but check this out. Daniel Jones, 22, 31. Goes for 267 and a touchdown. Goes for 249 and a touchdown. Awesome, right? I thought so. He's playing Denver. He's playing Washington. Okay, like I said before, good defenses. He's performing well. He's going up against Atlanta. Great. Good, a good stream play right here. My boy's not doing too good. I can go ahead and pick up Danny Dimes and get a little something for my troubles. Atlanta, not that good. Has been absolutely putrid against everyone. And the 1 week where they decide to play defense and Danny Dimes decides that it's going to be the Saquon Barkley show, goes 24 completions. Now, see, here's the thing. He had more completions for 266, no touchdown, and 2 fumbles. Now, give him those fumbles, give those fumbles back to him. That's 4 points. So now you're at 18. Add in a touchdown, you're in at 25. Now, I'm sorry, 24. Now, here's my thing. That's all fine and good, but I would much rather have 45 than 24. What I didn't do was I didn't wait. I didn't wait on the talent that I drafted in the first place. Okay. Now, I've said it before, I'll say it again. In season, you play the matchup. During draft season, you draft talent. Here's the thing, is that sometimes your talent is going to outride your matchup. If you're locked and loaded, and I'm preaching to myself right now, if you're locked and loaded, leave your guys in there. You're locked and loaded guys, you know who they are. Okay. Right now, you got Mike Williams absolutely losing his mind with Justin Herbert. They've got a mind meld. It's out of this world. I didn't get Keenan Allen, but I did get Mike Williams. I was really happy with him. I've got him in a couple of different leagues. And as I said before, I was offered Mike Evans straight up for Mike Williams. Mr. Dalton, Do better. But thank you for Saquon. I appreciate it. Yes, Dalton is in our league of record. He is the owner of the Trash Cans. We're going to take a look at his team in just a second because we had a comeback of mammoth proportions. Can't even speak. That's how good it was. Just so happened to be my son, Colt. Yes, I lost to my other son, Jay. That's who is Jay Jacobs. So, the owner of, I think it's Claw Claps is what he calls his team. Let's see here. Yeah, Claw Claps. He came back and beat the Garbage Cans owned by Dalton. So, we'll take a look at that in just a second. But here's the thing I want you guys to remember. The locked and loaded players don't move, okay? And I'm not just talking, your big names. I'm not just talking, your Patrick Mahomes, your Christian McCaffrey. By the way, your Christian McCaffrey owner, as I am, you want to go out, and if you haven't already, because our waivers have already processed, if your waiver claims have already processed and you lost out on Chuba Hubbard, sorry, hit me up down to the bottom, or hit me up on Twitter at Faith, the letter N, football 1, okay? And ask my opinion on who I think you should pick up. Give me a couple options. Let me know who's on your waiver wire, okay? I know our waiver wires differ, so it's kind of hard for me to go, okay, well, you need to go after this guy. Then you can come back, well, he's already taken. So give me a couple of options if you're hurting at running back right now. If you're hurting at running back, look, keep an eye on the Dalvin Cook thing. If Dalvin Cook is going to be out, you're going to want Alexander Mattison. If you are the Dalvin Cook owner, if you're the Christian McCaffrey owner, you can go out and get Alexander Mattison if you missed out on Chuba Hubbard. I missed out on Chuba Hubbard. Okay. He was picked up by someone else. I'm really not that pressed about it because I went out and drafted Tyson Williams, who did disappoint against Detroit, but everybody's got their ups and downs. Keep a hold of him. He was at one point in time leading the league in yards per touch. So he is on a very prolific run offense. They're a run first, very run heavy. Matter of fact, Baltimore is probably the most run heavy team in the league. So Tyson is going to be fine. Keep an eye on him. If you do have somebody who's willing to give you good trade value, by all means, pursue it. Okay, but make sure you do your research. Use all the tools available on your platform. If you're not on the Sleeper platform, please get on the Sleeper platform. You don't have to be playing there in order to take advantage. Download it, use the tools, compare players, get stats, get the updates, because remember, information is key and killer in fantasy football. If you get the information first, you can make the moves first. Speaking of making moves first, Josh Gordon is supposed to be reinstated if you're hurting at the wide receiver position and no one's willing to trade with you. Maybe you don't have anything of value to offer them. Go out, make a waiver claim on Josh Gordon, keep him on your bench. So reportedly, he is supposed to sign with the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, what does that do for everyone else on that team? Here's the thing. I personally don't think it's going to hurt the main guys that much. It's not going to take that much away from Tyreek Hill. It's not taken away from Travis Kelce. If you drafted CEH, we went over this before, see if you can get any good value out of them because they're not using him, okay? That is probably the first guy that's going to affect taking any passing work away from him. Now, outside of that, Demarcus Robinson, Mecole Hardman, those guys are going to be moved to a different level. a little lower. I think that Josh Gordon is going to come in. He's going to fight to be the number 2. He's definitely not taking over the Tyreek Hill position. He will take some pressure off of Tyreek because you're going to have to respect the talent. Okay. Now, that is provided that he's got his act together again. Finally, we're praying for you, Josh. Don't let us down this time. Okay. So, that being said, if you had a Monday Night Miracle, please hit me up on Twitter and let me know what it was. So let's go back and take a look at League of Record here. You see the garbage cans versus claw claps. Now, here's what I want you to remember is that in looking at this 26 points right here didn't exist going into Monday night. So if you take the 26 away, he's down at about 113. Okay. So he needed a lot of help. And he needed only the help that someone like Zeke Elliott of old could provide. So Zeke looked like himself. He was running all over the place. Let's check out his game log here. Now, this is where the weight pays off. If you had Zeke, week 1, you weren't happy. 5.9 points, 11 carries on 33 yards, no touchdowns. 2 targets, 2 receptions for 6 yards, no touchdowns. Week 2 got a little better. You saw improvement. Got 71 yards on 16 attempts. Got 2 targets, 2 carries, but he got the touchdown on the carries. This week, 95 yards. He got 3 receptions for 21 yards, but he got 2 touchdowns. So those 2 TDs really paid off. Now, next up, he gets Carolina, then the Giants, then New England. Now, we just saw what happened with the Saints and New England. They're not the same, they used to be. Okay, they're not the same defense they used to be. They're not the same team they used to be. Then we get Minnesota. We get a tough matchup against Denver. Then Atlanta. KC's going to be a little hard. The Raiders might be surprisingly difficult. Then we get the Saints, Washington, the Giants, and then Washington again. Now, that's going to be for the playoff time for a lot of you. Weeks 15, 16, and then 17 for your championship. You get Arizona, and we'll see how they're looking that deep into the season. Now, he was going up against, of course, the person that I traded with. Now, in this spot would have been Saquon. This is one of the players that I got Saquon for. And you'll see here, snap percentage, 54, 61, 52. A lot of split. There's a lot of running backs to go around in Miami, okay? The gas man is probably the lead back, but with snap percentages like that, he's not a dominant one, okay? Is he getting a little more than half? Yeah, but it's not dominating like other players are. The other guy was, scroll down here, Nyheim Hines, 18.9. Plain and simple, Dalton just made a bad choice. But here's the thing. He didn't watch the show. See, if you'd watched the show, then last week, Nyheim Hines, I talked about as a start, okay, that you needed to play him. Probably needed to listen. So, Mr. Dalton, I hope you're watching this time. I hope you're taking notes. And today's episode is all about looking back and waiting. this is what I want to drive home to you guys. If you're new to the fantasy football game, first of all, welcome, and I hope you're having an awesome time. Even if you're not doing that well right now, don't worry about it. It's a long season. We've actually got an extra game this year to make up the difference. So if you're like me and you started off 1-2, it's okay. We can get back to 500 real easy. Then we can make that push in the middle of the season. Just make sure you're waiting on the talent. Okay. Now, yes, you have to be smart about when to walk away from a player. Okay. Look at the signs. Look at use all the tools to your advantage, and make sure that you're making the right decision. How do you know you're making the right decision? Get the information, guys. Shows like this, hit me up. Use my experience. I've got like 25 plus years playing fantasy football. Do I still make dumb decisions? Of course, we all do. It's not perfect. It's not exact science. But I do have a little insight, guys. I got a little experience with me. That's what the gray's for. Actually, it's from the kids. But you guys know what I'm talking about, those who have kids. So here's what I want you to do. Be patient. Hit me up on Twitter at Faith, the letter N, football 1. Let me know what your Monday Night Miracle was and what your upcoming questions are for week 4. Remember, take the season in chunks. Remember, we're in the first section of the season. Okay, 17 games to the season. A lot of us aren't going to be in the championship. There's only 2 that are going to be there, and there's only 1 that's going to bring home the title. Make sure it's you. Look, get the information. Download the Sleeper app. No, they're not a sponsor, but the guys, if you're out there listening, I love your work. Keep it up, and I wouldn't be opposed to it. Hit me up. I'd love a sponsorship. It'd be awesome. Love another one. Anyway, look, hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up down the bottom of the comments section after you subscribe, like, or share, and share this program. Look, guys, remember, God tells us to wait. He told the disciples, wait. I want you to remember, our time is not God's time. Okay? Might have to wait a little longer than what we would like, but it's definitely going to be worth it. Just like in fantasy football, waiting on that talent is definitely worth the payoff. So I hope this helped. I hope it was uplifting for you. Listen, there are players that we weren't happy with this week. Okay. Keep an eye out on those injury reports coming out of this weekend. Remember, Throttle Up Thursday is coming up. We're going to talk start sets. We're going to talk who you should have gone, who you should be looking at, and who to plug into your lineups. If you've got a lineup question, make sure you hit me up on Twitter at Faith, the letter N, football 1. Okay. Or down in the comments section, when you subscribe, like, and share, leave me a question. Let me know what you're looking at, and we'll help you out. Okay, guys? Till next time, I'm Neil. This is Faith in Football. God bless. Keep each other safe and keep each other comforted. Okay? Remember, wait on God. It's definitely worth it. Till next time, guys. Y'all have a good one. And we'll see you next time on Faith and Football.